Yeah, how do you read?
Ready 5, sir.
Okay, read 5. Can you see the screen? Aryan, can you see the screen?
A from sir.
Okay, copied. Can somebody confirm if they can see the screen?
Screen is visual.
Copied. Everyone will start another 5 minutes. We'll wait for some more people to come. Okay, it's 2:35. Let's start the webinar. But before I start, I just want to know if everybody can see the screen and can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So we and welcome for everybody coming for the Airship Aviation Academy webinar. Now, everybody is interested on how to crack the airline interview. Now, what interview actually looks like and what interviews actually look for is very important. Mastering the art of first impression and the pilot presence. Now, everybody's heard about that. Never judge a book by its cover. It's a very, very common niche and a cliche, but interviews are one place where you must judge a book by its cover. Preparation and the first impressions for your foundation for success is very, very important because you get one chance, and if you get the second chance, you get it after 3 months. As much as possible, try to clear it in the first attempt. And I believe everybody can. If I did it, again, the cliche saying, if I did it, you can also do it. So, the pilot mindset, the why behind the personal interview. Airlines are not just looking for someone who can fly, they're looking for a leader and especially a captain. They are not hiring first officers. Yes, they are hiring first officers, but they are looking for future captains. When I sat on the supernumerary seat, the commander looked at me and told me, he's like, you are not a supernumerary, you are not an observer, you are a first officer. And then he looked at the first officer. He's like, you're not a first officer, you're a future captain. And then he looked at his own self and said, I am not a captain, I'm a future TRI and a D. So it's very important to know why you're there. Airlines are just looking for someone who can fly. Not really. They're looking for a person who can handle stress, like a doctor, engineer. They want all the professions at the same time. The core traits. Interviews prioritize candidates who remain calm under pressure and exhibit confidence in their speech and abilities. At this point, you have to be very, very confident on how you speak because at the end of the day, confidence is key. You have to, if you're not confident, you have to fake it till you make it, till the interview. After that, nobody really cares so much. Yes, it is important, but interviewer is the main place where they show that, okay, are you confident? Are you capable of handling 150 people? The wild horse analogy. You must learn to control your mind. Because when I started practicing for the interviews, I also started reading about psychology, about how people are, how is your mind, what is your mind. So when I was actually researching about this, I got an opportunity to come across a book where it said that around 60 to 80,000 thoughts daily run into your mind. And guess how many are actually positive? There's only 80%, which is negative, and 20% that is positive. And around more than 90 to 95% of your mind runs on your subconscious, not your conscious. This is not a psychology class, okay, guys? This is for personal interview. Okay. So now the professionalism. This starts before you exit your room. It is very, very, very important that you never speak negatively about previous employees or colleagues, as this is a place where people talk, people speak about other people, and these rumors run like wildfire. So if you want to talk about somebody, talk only good, and the negative, well, you can speak it to your best friend who's not in the aviation field. As I understand, it's human to vent it out. If you guys have questions or you have any doubt or you want me to explain something a little more, just just say pause. I'll pause. You guys can ask the question, and at the end of the question, I will ask you, are you satisfied with the answer? If no, I'll go deeper. Understood? Cool. Now preparation. The main question is how. Preparation is key. Don't wing it. Do not wing it. Your preparation should begin weeks, not days in advance. Because if you start preparing like 5 days before the interview, on the last day, you would be like, damn, I wish I had another day. Damn, I wish I had some more time so I could prepare for this set of questions, this set of answers, XYZ. So it's very, very, very important. My personal opinion is to be prepared a week before the interview, a week, because within that week, you can just fine tune, brush up on your systems, memory items, your questions and answers, which I will start giving you in the ahead slides. Now, you ask also, what are the interviews looking for? Interviews see candidates who can remain calm under pressure, exclude confidence, speech, and abilities. These qualities are especially important in fields where leadership, such as that of a pilot, are required. Practice these traits until they become second nature. Politeness also matters. Always be respectful and polite to everyone you encounter during the interview process, including administrative staff and also waiters. This reflects your character and professionalism. Okay, so scripting. Write down answers to potential questions early to allow for fine tuning. Because when the days come closer, I understand people go through anxiety. People go through this phase where they're just confused, like, oh my God, what to do, how to do XYZ. It's very natural as a human being. So if suppose you should have the most common questions like, tell me about yourself. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? Why should we hire you? What do you know about Air India? All these minor points actually are very, very important, because when I started my interview preparation, I was stumbling on my own answers and I was practicing it with my dad. So at that time, it came to my mind that it's good I started preparing early. It's good that I wrote the question and I wrote it on a paper. I understand people write it on the iPad or any electronic device, but you get a photogenic memory if you write it on the paper. Write the whole answer and use it as a mantra. This is something which has helped me drastically. The recording, triple check. So I'd seen this on a YouTube video where I was wondering, like, what is he speaking about? So he told me first, check the audio only, listen to your tone and clarity. Next, the video only. Keep the audio muted, watch your body language. Now, you might ask, why is body language there and why is it so important? If you understand, body language communicates almost 80% of the communications which you interact with people on a day to day basis. Even right now, a lot of people are fidgeting with their pens, they're looking somewhere on the wall, they're thinking of what to eat. It's all fidgeting. This also shows a sign of nervousness with a lack of focus. When you video yourself, you understand yourself more. Now, when you put the audio and the video together, now you understand that how important it is with just the audio and the video together. It's like a synchronization, it's like the DNA. It just comes to life when you add these two, and it is magic. I'm telling you, it's really, really, really magic. Even whatever I'm saying, even whatever I'm saying, you can use on you can use it in your day-to-day basis while speaking to a family member, to your friends, or even in your professional life. I'm also spreading on how to be with people. Examples. Prepare at least two concrete examples of every strength, weakness, failure, regret, anything. Like a strength, it could be I'm good at leadership, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. My weakness, you can list down a few weaknesses, but now this is a trick question. When you say that in a weakness that I'm scared to talk to people, that's a red flag. They will be like, but it's my weakness. But no, there are some weaknesses where you shouldn't tell them. Like have a weakness about I have a sweet tooth, or the common niche, the very, very popular weakness. I'm a perfectionist. Sure, yeah, everybody believes that. Have a weakness which you can work on. You could also be like a weakness is I'm working out on my body. It's not that great, but I'm working out. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now, failures. Now, failure. You should have a failure which is not drastic in your life. Like, oh my, like this is an extreme extreme example, but like, hey, my marriage disintegrated. That's a failure. But you could have like a small failure, be like, hey, I couldn't give my assignment on time, or I couldn't do this, I couldn't clear my driving check or whatever, driving. Something regarding your personal life, not something in the aviation field. Even regrets. You should have a regret which does not affect the safety of the interview. Have a very small regret. Like, I wish I didn't eat this food last night, or I wish I spoke to this person about this topic so I could have recovered more quicker. I could have been a better person. So, have also strengths, weaknesses, failures, and regrets written down for your interview. Have at least two examples. They will ask you, tell me, and you have to answer it. Now, this is a place where if you are not prepared and if you give a weakness saying that I'm scared to talk to people, I'm an introvert, if you did not prepare this question and the question was asked, and if you say this, a red flag comes in your brain. So when you are preparing, write down. That's why it's very important to write down and to discuss with people that is this the right question? Is this the right correction? Is this the right answer to the question? Does it make sense? And always see from the third perspective. It is very important to see from the third perspective. So far, any questions anybody has, or I'll give a 10-second gap right now if anybody wants to ask something.
Yes, I had one question
Yeah, please.
regarding nervousness. So,
Yes, please.
what do you think? Like, I think everyone's quite a bit nervous before any kind of
100%.
interviews. Okay?
100%.
If they ask you that, why were you nervous or something like that, so we should be honest,
All
right?
right, folks, am I audible to you? You have to be very honest with it. So please continue your question.
Yeah. So, how should we like structure the answer, or like,
Oh, okay. So this was asked to me for one of my interviews. They were like, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "Yes, I am nervous, but yet confident."
okay,
You you should actually accept these type of small things. Now, when people talk about nervousness, they're like, "Why are you nervous?" Does anybody know why people get nervous? Why people overthink? But okay, let's consider nervousness. Why do you think you're nervous? First of all, it's outside your comfort zone. Now, one thing which broke my nervousness was this line saying that if you're nervous, it means you're going to do something brave. It means you're going to do something brave. And in your human factor, moderate amount of nervousness boost confidence. That's very important. It's there in the human factor chapter.
yes.
Have I answered your question, or should I elaborate a little more?
No, no, I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So now the uniform, the attire, and so now you might ask, like, what should I wear? What colors combination? What should I do? How should I, how should I match my colors? How should I match my outfit? So it's very important. So I'll go through the list over here. In aviation, your appearance is your first statement of discipline. And as I said, never judge a book by its cover. But over here, you are judged by your appearance. They see your attire. They see how you wear it. And on top of your attire, you should wear confidence. Now, confidence, I can't give you in one webinar. It has been ingrained in me for the last years and decades. It's a compounding effect. If you have to be confident with something, you have to do it slowly by slowly. And the progress is not just like 5% today, 10% tomorrow. It's 0.1% every day. 0.1% every day. That's the hard reality. Okay. So item specifications, colors. So if in colors you can wear a blue, white or gray shirt or blue or black suits. But my opinion, you should wear a black suit if you're going for an interview. For an example, like Air India, you should wear a blue suit. If you're going for IndiGo, you should wear a blue suit. Now, I understand there is a lot of confusion over here, but it's up to you. These are the two colors which I personally agree. Because now, why you say blue with indigo and not black with it? What is the color of indigo? So you should also connect with them in the color combination also. Because when you go for advertisements and advertisements, every color that you see online is a subconscious thought in your brain. Like when people see blue, they see safe. When you see red, it means danger. So color psychology is also there and plays a very, very important part. Now, footwear, long black socks, guys and girls, long black socks and polished black shoes with a matching black belt. I saw a guy who wore a brown belt with black shoes, or I saw a guy with black shoes with a brown belt, or vice versa. What I mean to say. So, whatever, black belt, black shoes, accessories, avoid cufflinks, clips, and very flashy designs. There was a person who was asked, why are you wearing cufflinks? Why are you even wearing that handkerchief on the top of your suit? This is not a wedding. This is not a casual function. This is a professional event. So I heard one of these comments and I heard it from personally from that person and I heard it from multiple people. So as much as possible, avoid this. Now, grooming. Haircut 1 week prior. If you're bald, I'm sorry, but haircut 1 week prior. It lets your haircut to actually settle down. Nails trimmed. I would say cut your nails. They also see your nails. Tattoos are yes, yes, it is allowed, but not visible. You can have it on your back, your chest, or XYZ, wherever you want it, but it should not be visible when you are going to the interview. And also, very important is also learn how to tie a professional tie. Everybody knows only one type of tie, one type of way to tie a tie, but learn multiple ways to tie a tie and find the best that suits for you. Okay, guys, this is the T minus 24 hours routine. This is going to be the most anxiety you will have before the interview. This is this is the sweet spot. You're going to overthink, you're going to go XYZ, you're going to be all over the room, you're going to eat waffles, chocolates, XYZ. But just understand this is the part of the process. And if you can control it, you can master it.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Sir, is watch allowed with a suit?
Yes, watch is allowed with the suit.
Okay.
Sir, I have also one doubt.
Yes, please, please.
What about the beard? Like a lightly trimmed beard should be good to go or fully clean shave?
Okay, so for Indigo, it is shaved. You have to go fully shaved. I saw people at Air India, they had beards, which I was also surprised that how can you guys have a beard? But my opinion is to shave on the safer side. I
Okay,
saw
sir.
people who have beards and they got in. And I was also a little confused, like, how did you clear the interview without shaving your beard? Even that was a little funny tick in my brain. But Indigo, very, very clear. You have to shave and come. For Air India, what I have seen is not too strict, but it's better to shave and go.
Okay, sir.
So I'm giving you like both sides of the pendulum.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
I hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, you're very audible. Please tell me.
You had mentioned how we must write down our strengths, weaknesses, and
Yeah.
regrets on a piece of paper.
Yes, absolutely.
My question is, what if one has no regrets?
Yes, everybody has regrets in life.
What if one has no regrets?
That's a lie. Everybody has some regret or the other. Like, I regret that I never made my dream body. I never stopped this bad habit of eating sugar and sweets, which I still do. It's a regret for me that I wish I had stopped eating sweets and I wish that I worked on my body a little more. So that's a regret which I have. But today, I've been working out and XYZ, reducing chocolates, XYZ. So everybody has regrets. It's just a matter of time on you accept your regret and you work on your regret. That's what's the most important thing. You like me to elaborate on that?
No, sir. Thank you for inputs. I'll try to understand that.
Okay, thank you, boss. So the day before the interview is a mental management, not cramming. Very important. Physical preparation. Aim for at least 8 hours of sleep. Book your cab the night before. Uber has that option. Book it before. And please reach the venue 30 minutes before the reporting time. Now, why? It's because if you're going to a new place, you don't know where exactly do you have to go, where do you have to be, who do you have to wait for, and XYZ. Or if you want to grab a coffee also, it gives you sufficient time to actually make things very comfortable for you. So, physical preparation, 8 hours of sleep, and book your cab the night before. Now, mental reset. Watch a nice comedy show or spend time with loved ones to ease stress. Watch, it's fun to spend time with your loved ones, with your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, whatever makes you happy. But be in a good mood. That's what it means. You want to eat some chocolate also? Yeah, you can eat some chocolate. It increases your dopamine, so it'll make you happy. Now the third point is the Superman pose. Anybody's heard of the Superman pose? So I'll tell you about it. Practice this for 5 minutes to chemically boost your confidence. Now, when you see Superman, you see in his pose where, like, hypothetically, if you guys see that he's on the tip of the mountain, his hands are on his hips, his legs are slightly wide apart. He's looking up and right towards the sky. And you can see his cape, like, jumping in the wind. And his chest is like really high, puffed up. That is the Superman pose. That is a psychological reaction to your body. When you do this, you're able to boost testosterone, you're able to boost confidence. And it will really, 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 really help you in day to day activity. This reduced my stress for the interview, and I'm just sharing my insights to you. And this is what has helped me, the morning ritual.
So,
Yes, please.
sir, I had a question, but it's not related to this slide particularly.
Okay, sure.
But in general, I wanted to ask, what are we supposed to wear for adapt?
Adapt, adapt, you can wear a normal shirt and pant, but for women, it's preferred to wear long pants and a shirt and go for it. Suit is not required.
All right. Okay, sir.
Cool.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
So I wanted to ask you, sir, for the interview, is a suit compulsory, like with the entire blazer and stuff, or like would a shirt and a tie do and like a pant below?
Okay. So for Air India, which I had gone for the interview, is I went with a shirt and a pant, but I wore a tie. For IndiGo, I wore a suit. So it is airline to airline. But what I've seen is that it is not, it's people wear it because it's a corporate and XYZ, but it is not necessary to wear a suit. But if you want to wear a suit, that's up to you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, the morning ritual, the 3 hours rule. Wake up at least 3 hours for the interview for a calm start. I understand people before they go to work, they will wake up an hour, they brush their teeth, get ready, XYZ, eat breakfast, maybe scroll some few reels on Instagram and then head to work. But over here is you have to wake up 3 hours before. Now, why? First of all, when you wake up, you have to hydrate. You have to drink at least 500 not liters ml of water and eat a nutritious breakfast. Now, what nutritious breakfast? You can have some fruits, you can have some cereal, whatever makes you happy. But it shouldn't make you stuffed or full. It should make you feel good and have a light breakfast. Now, gratitude. How many people are actually grateful for the oxygen you breathe, the colors you see with your eyes, or even the people who you meet in day-to-day basis? Or there are millions of other things. One thing which I'm like super grateful is being part of this human era where we are in this century, at this time where technology exists, where fire, wheel, and electricity exist. If you had gone 2000 years back, also, we've been living in the caveman time. So be grateful for even the smallest things that you have. That's very important. Now, meditation. Meditation doesn't work for me. Meditation is a scam. Meditation is this. Meditation is that. Blah, 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 blah. Meditation is one of the most unique things to ever do for a human being. Now, you see, when you see the world from your eyes and you look outwards, but all your answers to the world is actually inside of you. So, this is a technique which I perform before the interview and every day of my life. Use this 6 6 6 6 breathing techniques for 5 minutes. Now, what does this mean? You inhale for 6 seconds, you hold for 6 seconds, you exhale for 6 seconds, and you hold for 6 seconds. I'll say it again. You inhale for 6 seconds, you hold for 6 seconds, you exhale for 6 seconds, and you hold for 6 seconds. Now, in this time, you only count the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, and so on. This is very important. Okay, now the shift. This is where the interview actually starts. It starts the moment you step out of the hotel door, because you never know if the interviewer might be staying in your hotel, or you passed him down the street, or you did something XYZ. There's eyes everywhere. So try to be your best behavior when you exit the hotel and you return back to the hotel. After that, you can be the weird human being you are. That is absolutely fine, and that's absolutely normal. Arriving Arrival at the observed phase. You're being watched from the moment you reach the venue. Punctuality. Reach 30 minutes before your reporting time. Very important. Phone etiquettes. Put your phone on airplane or silent mode immediately. My opinion is to put your phone on silent mode. But if you want to be in that safe zone, go on airplane mode. I understand some people can't live without a TikTok reel for like 10 minutes in their life. So just for this day, guys, just do this for this day itself. Your public greetings, like greet everybody, staff, waiters, everybody as much as possible. A simple like good morning, good evening, hey, hi, how are you doing? The usual small talk. That's what you have to do. Avoid smoking, playing games like table tennis, or laughing loudly before the interview. After the interview, though, I know those tapris where you will see 50% of the people gone there and they live there for the next 1 hour after the interview. So before that, just avoid smoking. After that, you're free to do whatever you want. Before you go for your interview, just one light spray of your perfume around your neck. Just one. I see people, they have a bath of perfume and then they go for the interview. No, just one light spray and you're good to go. Now, if you see the man over there, he's carrying a briefcase. It's good to carry a briefcase, but a holding one where when you go for the interview, it seems professional. You see normal people carrying bags, like the handbags or the backpacks. It's important to actually carry a briefcase. If you don't have a briefcase, it's absolutely fine, but that's a professional touch, what I have noticed in my years. By following these guidelines, you will present yourself in a very polished and professional manner and feel confident walking into your interview. Now entering the flight deck. Everybody loves that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain or first officer speaking from the flight deck. This is the place, guys. The entry protocol. Knock twice and request permission to enter. Now, there's a difference between can I, may I, should I. Now, what's the difference? You guys have to find out. But the word over here you use is may I. May I enter? Close the door slowly without turning your back to the panel. The recall test. This is a lot of people who fail, and this is what they ask in IndiGo. Note the attire of the person who leads you in the panel may ask you about later. He asked me also, what is the person wearing? I was like, black shirt and blue pants. He's like, correct. Yeah, that was close. Okay, the greeting. Greet everybody individually with a namaste or a good morning, but something unique to every individual panel. Or you could be like, good evening, everybody, or good morning, everyone. Do not sit until uninvited. I don't understand why, but people, they seem it's rude that you just entered and sat down, but you come for the interview, so you have to sit down. But do not sit until uninvited. So I'd like to add a little more on the T minus on the morning rituals. I would just like to add some few more things. It's important that you also pray. I understand there are some people who do not believe in religion, or there are people who believe in religion. But today is the day you pray. You want to pray to God, pray to God. If not, pray to yourself, but pray. It's very, very important. And just for 1 minute, that 1 minute, that's all it takes. It's very, very, very important. Okay. So now I talked about the 80% of body language, 80% of communication is through body language. Now we're going to talk about the sitting and non-verbal mastery, the posture, head up, shoulders back, not touching the chair, and hands on the thigh. Now, why not touching the chair? They say if you're touching the chair, it means you're slouching, or it means you're too relaxed. If you're too much ahead, it means you're slouching. Eye contact. Use the triangle pattern. Left eye, and the lips. Left, right, lips. Left, right, lips. Avoid droopy eyes, guys. Stillness. 80% of communication is non-verbal. Avoid fidgeting or touching your face. It is very, very, very common for people to touch their face when they're nervous, when they're thinking. So avoid touching your face. Facial expressions. So now 80% of communication is non-verbal, and that is through body language. Now, if your body is still, what is going to show your expressions or your non-verbal cues is your facial expressions. Maintain a genuine, moderate smile and avoid excessive eyebrow movement. Don't think in that way, guys, but please control your eyebrows. It's very important. Like for an example, if you guys are shocked, your eyebrows jump up. If you're angry, your eyebrows droop down. So these are fine touches, which at that moment you won't be able to notice it, but the interviewers will notice it immediately.
Excuse
Yes,
me, sir.
please. Yes, please.
Sir, I would like to ask, is it okay to give hand expression if something is asked regarding
Yes. Yes.
technical? Is it okay about that, or should we always put our hands on thigh?
So, good question. So, the hands are on the thigh most of the time. But if you want to actually bring a point, do not move your hands above your shoulders. Maintain it below the chin. That's all. You have to make hand movements below the chin, because when you go above it, your face gets covered. And that's a psychological feeling that you're hiding something. So it's always below the chin. Make a few expressions with your hands and keep your palms outside. Your palms have to be facing them.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody else who's having a question for the last 20 minutes and wants to ask?
So I also have one
Yes,
question.
please. Yes,
So
please.
since one of the mate he just mentioned about the explanation using the hand gestures and all those
Yes,
stuff.
please. Yes,
Also,
please.
if it's required, can we ask for the pen and paper, like if they have
Yes,
the program?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And also, when they ask you, like, tell me about a time where the airline had a big depression and this and that and blah blah blah. So now this is a really difficult question to answer. So what point am I trying to get across? This is be like, rather than just immediately answering, just wait for some time, hold your thoughts. You can also ask for water. There'll be a glass of water for you to think. You can drink the water. That's like a stall to answer the question, whichever you ever want to answer. This is just some insights which I've seen and noticed. Communication and answering techniques. The 2 second rule. Wait 2 seconds before answering any question. Now, why? Because the interviewer actually thinks that you thought of the question, but you know very well that you wrote the questions and answers a week, like a month prior. But you have to show the interview that, yes, I thought about the question and I'm going to answer this. The 45-second rule. Keep your response under 45 seconds unless asked for. Okay. Now, when I say the 45-second rule, it has a hashtag. What I mean to say is, like, they ask you, like, what is your name? My name is Pratik Kumar. I am from this. No, no. Some questions have to be very short and sweet. Where are you from? I am from Mumbai. Okay. Now, If they ask you this question, now which I'll be coming to the star, the situation, task, action, and result for a hypothetical or behavioral question, then this 45-second rule applies. Like, tell me a time where you faced an emergency and how did you handle it? So you tell the situation. I had this situation. This was the task in my hand. This was the action I created. And now the most important thing I'm going to tell you is the result. Now, when I talk about the result, it has to be, you have to end the sentence with a positive note. Anything you could say. It's like this is going to be like a very far-fetched example what I'm going to give. But what I'm trying to say is like, hey, my dog died. I feel really bad about this, but now I've taken this feeling and I'm spreading my love, what I've created with my dog, and the dog has shared with me. I'm going to animal shelters. I'm helping the dogs. I'm helping the owners, and I'm helping myself also be a better person. So something which is really bad, my dog died, but what I've actually done with it, I got into a positive light. It's a far-fetched example, but I'm trying to put the example across, saying always end with a positive note. Verbal fillers. Eliminate ooh, use brief pauses instead. It's human to add all these things. Try to avoid it as much as possible. I also, at times, do this. It's human to do this. But over time and over practice, you will overcome it. Now, now till whatever like I've spoke about or discussed, these things have to be practiced every day till your interview. Otherwise, it won't add the compounding effect, which is the most important. Now, strategy on the down right of the slide, deliver deliver the answer they want to hear, staying within ethical bounds. So if they ask you, why do you want to be a pilot? In your mind, you're like, I want to be a pilot because I want to travel, good paying job, and one day I want to marry a cabin crew. Obviously, you can't say those things. So you have to say, like, it is my childhood dream, which they've all heard it. I watched air shows. I've played flight simulator. I've been watching a lot of aviation cartoons when I was a kid, like SWAT cats and all that. And I've been doing in flight simulators. And over the time, when I did my first solo in the Cessna, I knew that I wanted to be a pilot. So you have to make answers in such a way that they want to hear what they want to hear, not what you say. Very, very important. There's always the answer which they want to hear. If you have a different answer, that's completely fine. But the interviewer wants to hear what they want to hear. And whenever you are, see that it came, it's human. When you answer a question, sometimes people be like, sir, yes, sir, I was doing this, sir, but then the aerodynamics, sir, then sir. There's a lot of sirs. It's natural to be nervous, again, I said. But whenever you answer something, you tell him, like, when you start the question, he asks you, okay, so tell me about yourself. Sure, sir. I am this, I am that, I am born from here, I've done my education from here, and XYZ. So try saying only sir at the start of the conversation, at the start of the question. Sure, ma'am. Sure, sir. Even that's a nice way of starting a question. Absolutely. Definitely. Good question. XYZ, blah, 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 blah. Handling the heat, stress, and the unknown. Humans are terrified of the unknown. You'll be wondering, okay, I have done this. Will they ask me questions about this? I was speaking like to a friend of mine. He's done his graduation and he was telling me, bro, I've done this graduation. Should I write it on my CV? And I told him, bro, do not write it on your CV. No, but if they find out that I've done engineering and XYZ and all that, I said, see, at the end of the day, what is the eligibility and the requirements of being a pilot? He's like, fair point. They don't need all of that. So do not stress. You might also think about, okay, I have not studied about hydraulics, so I'm not studied about aerodynamics. What if they ask me about aerodynamics? What if they ask me about this? It is natural to feel it, but you have to practice. That's why I said you have to prepare. You have to finish your preparation at least a week before your interview. You have to finish it. Classes might go on one day prior to the interview. You have to finish it. This is your life. This is your interview. This is your job. This is what you want. Not what I want, but this is what you want. Stay composed no matter what the panel throws at you. Stress tactics, good cop, bad cop. Never argue, accept challenge gracefully. Even for my interview, there were five people in the panel. I was like, damn. Three were really nice, two were the bad cops. They asked me questions. They started being very arrogant, very unprofessional. But at the end of the day, I saw through it and I'm like, you guys really know how to act, and your acting is really terrible. So I saw through them and I understood that they're just playing the bad cop. And I was like, yeah, 10 brownie points to you. So understand there's always a bad cop and a good cop in the interview, because they're going to ask you some difficult questions where you won't even know that this question existed in your life, but they've asked it. And if you answer something a little haywire, they will again go deeper and deeper and deeper of the question till you break. If you don't know a question, okay, now this is very important. When you don't know the question, don't guess. Acknowledge the question's importance. Be like, I understand. I'm sorry. That's a good question. I do not know the answer of it, but definitely afterwards, I will research on it. Coming to the second point, say I'm 50% sure, but as far as I remember, blah, 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 blah. And inform him that, yes, 50% blah, 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 blah. And but definitely I will check my books and I will confirm and solidate my knowledge after the interview. Stay cool, stay in control. Do not let your guard down, even if the panel becomes casual. This is again a good cop technique, because the bad cop is looking at you and waiting when you put your guard down, and then he'll jump in. So understand that it's going to be either 15 minutes, it's going to be, or 30 minutes, or 45. It depends completely upon how you perform and how you do it. Any questions anybody would like to ask again? I'll give a 10-second window over here.
So does the HR round for Indigo and the technical round they happen at the same time with the same panel or?
So I'm not really sure about that because I went through the type rating, but just give me a moment to think about it.
Okay, sure, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please. Yes,
For
please.
HR questions,
Yes, please.
is it okay, like if we don't know the exact answer or with the question we have not prepared, can we take like 5 to 10 seconds to think and
Yeah,
then we
yeah,
can answer?
absolutely, absolutely. But you should say, wait for five, like for 10 seconds. So you can just ask them, like, can I have like a moment to think about it? Then you'll be like, sure, for a technical question. But if you ask, like, if they ask, tell me about yourself, you're like, sir, can I have 5 to 10 seconds to think about it? Obviously, okay, you get my point, what I mean to say.
Yes, sir.
So for important technical questions, which is a little tricky, and you remember it at like, one corridor or one locker in your brains, you need to find it. So you can ask for 5 to 10 seconds. And this is the time also that I see people drink water or they just ask, so can I have a moment to think? Okay. Now, coming back to ma'am's previous question, is that as far as I remember, when I was there were only type rated candidates, but 15 days to 20 days prior, there were like CPL students, but that was in the previous attempt. Now I have no idea because things are changing. FTTL rules have come in. Indigo wants pilots, lowest pilot to aircraft ratio. Indigo has blah 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 blah. So the hiring process could increase drastically, or it could remain the same.
Okay.
I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
good. Thank you.
So,
So
Yes, please.
like
so
you
what are the
mentioned that,
signs? After you, please.
okay, thank you. So like you mentioned that we don't need to mention about the graduation if we
Yes.
have done it.
Yes.
So what if the panel asks, what were you doing during that phase? And if we say that I was doing my graduation, what if he conflicts that why haven't you mentioned it in your
Yeah,
CV?
absolutely. You can also tell that these are not the requirements of being a pilot. This is what I've done or what I've loved. See, there are people who put their graduation. 95% of the people put their graduation. They are all their scholars and this and that. But for the interview, it is a does requirement required to be an engineer to be a pilot? The answer is no. Do you need to be a doctor to be a pilot? No. What do you need? You need 12th, you need physics, maths, and that's all. Yes, that's a valid question. That what were you doing in the last this? Then you say, I was doing my graduation for this and that. Now they might ask you that why have you not put it in your CV? I'm like, sir, it is not the requirements of being a pilot. I understand. It is not the requirements of being a pilot. This is something which I love to do, so I did it, but the requirements is not there. If you like to add, you add. Now, why do I say this? Because one of my friends, okay, he did an AME course and he went for his Air India exam. He was expecting he's going to ask me about like hydraulics, about memory item, limitations, XYZ. The interviewer asked him about questions about his AME, which he did. And he did it like 4 years ago. He couldn't remember much. And he was so tensed. Okay, why are they asking me these questions? So the reason why I say is because they might ask you questions on top of that. That is the only reason. But if you want to put it, that's up to you.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay? Yes, yes, Mister. You had asked the question.
So, what are the signs that an interview is going well?
Okay, now this is a good question. Okay, this is a very, very, very subtle way of knowing that your interview is actually going well. Obviously, they'll never tell you, they'll never even show it to you. But there's one way that you can come to know if your interview is actually going well. But you have to pay like really, really, really close attention. Okay, for an example, for guys, when you see the PlayStation 5 and it's just sitting on your sofa and it's unboxed, your eyes are like wide open. You guys don't blink. You just stare at it. It's the same thing. When you see something that you really like, you blink less because when you blink less, you actually value and appreciate that PlayStation 5. So it's more on the blinking of the interviewer. If he blinks fast, it's a psychological fact where if you blink fast, you are shutting down the conversation and you just want to get over it. But if the eyes are open a little longer, then you understand that this person or that thing is very interesting. So again, also it depends upon the interviewer's body language also. But at that moment, it will be difficult, as I said, it will be challenging to notice this because you are already nervous. You are already expecting a question which is going to come from the interview. You don't now also a question is asked, where do I look when I'm not answering the question? You look just above their forehead and wait and keep your head straight and look above their forehead. That's it. Never ever look down while answering. Always maintain horizontal and look up and again come down. Never look down. So have I answered your question or is this fine enough or would you like me to go a little more in depth?
Could you please elaborate?
Okay. So about the PlayStation 5, when you see something you really like, your eyes are wide open. They blink less. Same thing for the interview. When they're looking at you, if they blink less, it means they're genuinely interested on this candidate. They will lean their body more on the table. They won't be on the table, but they'll be on the table. Their hands will be on the table, looking at you, being very intrigued. So these are subtle signs of how the interview is going really well. And you also understand that I have answered these questions and I have learned whatever has been taught in the webinar and also which is going to be taught in Airship Aviation Academy that I followed all the rules, I followed all the regulations, whatever they said, I've listened, and I don't think so. I won't be not clearing the interview. So with practice makes perfect. And at the end of the day, it's up to the interviewer to decide. Like everybody's gone through the RT. They've asked the most random questions. Even for ATPL, you've answered like 90% of the questions. And yet you didn't clear. At the end of the day, it is the interviewer's choice on how you vibe, you talk, you communicate effectively. All these minor things build to be the bigger picture.
Thank you, sir. Very well put.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, the exit and the final verdict. Closing. Thank you. Thank the panel for their time. It's very, very, very important. The exit, leave the room with your back facing the door, facing the panel to maintain poise. Poise means confidence. an action plan. Join our mock interview sessions to practice your triangle eye contact, your star responses before the real deal. We will make you not perfect, will make you consistent in what is required to be a professional interviewer, an interviewee, and what is expected to be as a captain of an airline. We will teach you all of this in Airship Aviation Academy. Your runway to success starts here. So this is my interview, and this is my webinar. Any questions, any suggestions, anything you would like to add, any more questions?
Oh, so
Yes.
so I wanted to ask you, sir, is shaking hand a good sign? Like, like, do we shake our hand at the start while greeting them or while exiting?
No, you don't shake their hands.
Okay.
That's one thing. Anybody else?
So can you brief us how your interview went and what are the exact questions they asked you?
So for my interview for Air India, they told me to sit down. I sat down. They asked me, tell me about yourself. I told them about myself. They asked me, where are you from? I told them where I'm from. Then they asked me, what is something if I come to Mumbai? What are things that I can actually see in Mumbai? Then they asked me about why do you want to be a pilot? Then they put me in a scenario that if I am flying at 36,000 feet and you are sitting as the as the supernumerary, and if there's an emergency descent, a decompression, and the commander has been incapacitated, what do you do? So that was a question which was asked for me. Then they asked me, what are your hobbies? Then what are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? This is for the Air India. And also they asked me about limitations. They asked me about systems, and they asked me about the memory items, which happily I answered all of them. And I'm grateful to be here in the airline. In Indigo also, they asked me also about what are the core values about Indigo, what are the mission, what is the vision. They put me in a lot of scenarios where what if I was here, what would you do? If you were a first officer and we are entering the runway and the nose wheel steering had a fault, what would you do? He asked me this question. Then he also asked me questions on GPS. He asked me questions on GNSS. He asked me questions about hydraulics, about everything. He asked me about limitations of the ignitions, start ignition. They just kept answering and answering and answering questions. Now it went for the Air India, there was three people, and for the Indigo, there were five people, two HR, one was technical. The HR people asked me all about HR, as I discussed. Why do you want to be a pilot? Why Air India? All these type of things. And technical was more on situational based questions. So this was my interview in short, which I was able to crack and be in the airline right now. So I tried to mix the Indigo and the Air India interview together. So this is how my Air India went, and this is how my Indigo interview went. So I have another 3 minutes. Anybody would like to discuss something or add something?
Sir, I would
Yes, please.
like to ask something.
Yes, please.
For system chapters, like, do they give the options, whichever system we can decide to speak on, or they ask the question directly?
So it depends on the interview you go. It depends if you're in Air India or it depends on Indigo, and it depends upon the interviewer's mood. Interviews mode will be like, okay, tell me your favorite system. And then you say hydraulic, air conditioning, and pressurization. But in Indigo, or depending upon the interview's mood, they'll be like, tell me about hydraulic. They'll be very dominant about this. Tell it to me. So it depends upon the interview and the airline, of course.
Okay, sir.
I have a small question.
Yes, please.
One of the airline captain, he mentioned
Yes.
when he went for an interview,
Yeah.
at the end of the interview, when everything was done, he was
Mm.
about to leave from the interview room. That
Yes.
time he asked the interviewers about the feedback about the
Mm.
interview.
Yes. Yes.
So is it a good idea?
Uh, Not, I understand it because in case if you don't clear it, you would love to know your feedback and then again come for the interview. But at this point, they will simply tell you like our team will get in contact with you. That is the most corporate answer to give. They won't also give you any feedback.
Okay.
Okay.
And sir, what if they ask like, do you have anything to ask from us?
Yes, you should always have a question, something. Now that's up to you. That's what we do in Airship. We'll able to tell you about what questions to ask. This is a very important question. If they ask you any questions, you always have to have at least one question and something about the airline, something about the process, something which you feel is beneficial and a smart question. So this question can be this question is a very important question, but it is very versatile question also. So when they asked me about do you have any questions, I said like yes, I do have a question, and the question I asked about was about the hiring process. So they explained it to me. So and then that was it. But again, questions vary depending upon the interviewer. He might not even ask you have any questions. He'll just tell you to like, hey, chumma, leave. Okay. But at the end, yes, you have to ask a question, which we will discuss in the courses.
Got it, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, please.
So can I please know the time duration for both the airline interview?
So
Like
for
how
me,
much did it
for
took for you?
yeah, for IndiGo, it took me like approximately 40 minutes, and for Air India, it took me around 20 minutes. Now it depends upon the interviewer again. He wants to grill you, he'll keep grilling you, even till 45 minutes also. Before Air India interviews used to go on till 45 minutes, 1 hour. But now they've shortened it to 20 minutes. But again, Indigo can also be till half an hour, but take half an hour as a sweet spot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody, this is the end for the webinar. I appreciate everybody coming, everybody listening to all the Gyan which I've been speaking for the last 1 hour and 15 minutes. At the end of the day, you are responsible. At the end of the day, it's your choice. My friend told me this, bro, you do whatever you want in life. At the end of the day, it's your choice. You want to go to this club, it's your choice. You want to make bad decisions, it's your choice. You want to do X, Y, Z. At the end of the day, it's your choice. So it's all up to you if you want to join Airship Academy or you don't want to join. But trust me, trust me, guys, they helped me be the pilot who I am today. If not for them, I wouldn't be taking this webinar. That's all I have to say. So thank you guys very much, and see you in the airline.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So
Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.